What's up, people? This is Nature Girl 30 here. And before I get into my review, which I do believe that I'm going to be the only person in the YWC or the IWC to give a positive review about tonight's Raw, I'm going to get into my promise that I actually left from my last video, as I'm going to give at least one shout out per Raw review that I do for one female YWC shooter. And the YWC shooter that I've actually been watching for a little while is the Jabroni Jabber. She's also known as Bonita Mia Vlogs. Honestly, I love her. She actually had the best rant I have ever seen a female do with such passion and such expression, and it was definitely her. And I actually uploaded it on my Wrestling Fan Nation page, so if you want to check it out, it's still there. This chick is awesome. Well, I mean, she probably want to be called a chick, but she is actually really, really good. And honestly, she does give Raw reviews. She didn't do Raw for last week, but I think she did it for the 10th of October, if I got my dates right. But honestly, she actually does say her reviews verbatim, but regardless of her saying verbatim, she actually sounds like a news reporter, like something like this straight out of like a commentary table. She's well spoken. She has her points in check. Not to mention the fact that she's very passionate when it comes to her rants. So you guys check her out. I'm going to have her. I'm going to actually have her link in the description box below if anybody wants to check her out. She's not hurting for subscribers, but she's still awesome to watch. So I'm going to leave that in the description box below. All right, let's move on to my positive review. All right, people, I'm going to be real. I'm going to lead just straight out right now. I am going to be the only person in the YWC to actually have a positive review about this, because on Twitter as well as Facebook, people kept saying it sucked, it's raw, it sucked, it was horrible, it sucked. It sucked as a go home show. I will give them that. It sucked as a go home show because it really did do nothing for Hell in a Cell. I'm sorry, it didn't at all. This is supposed to actually be the moment where you're supposed to put all the matches together, all the Raw matches together, everything that's going to happen in Hell in a Cell. You're supposed to be a recap, and it's supposed to actually give you some sort of a little taste on what these matches are going to be like. They did that a little bit, but not enough for anticipation. So I have to say this: it sucked as a go home show, but as a regular Raw, it was decent. And the reason why I'm going to say it was decent because they actually tried to throw a bone out at you. They gave you some interesting storylines, especially when it came to the whole AJ and John Cena angle. Yes, I'm not gonna lie, I happen to like that angle because you can actually imagine John Cena boning at least one of those divas. I mean, for crying out loud, he is surrounded by beautiful women every single day. Can't you imagine that this is something that can actually happen? I don't know. I actually like stuff like that. I like stuff that is somewhat real and somewhat realistic. That's the reason why I like that storyline and that angle. And another thing, they kind of, I mean, I have to say that some of the curves that they threw out there didn't really make any sense. Why on earth would you have AJ be fired? I mean, okay, not fired, but resign for tonight, with Vicky Guerrero calling her out after Vicky Guerrero pretty much spent an entire era flaunting how much of a cougar she is by cheating on Edge when she was married to him with the Big Show? And then you have Vincent Kennedy McMahon, of all people, who is notorious for literally boning people while he was married. I mean, he boned Trish Stratus. He boned practically every chick that he could at his age when he was in his 50s. Yeah, it's like the pot calling the kettle black. So having that reason, the whole reasoning behind it was stupid. I mean, it was. But I have to say it was interesting. I'm sorry, I found it interesting. And there was some positive turns tonight. Positive turns that I actually did like. Number one, Justin Gabriel actually beating Antonio Cesaro. That's something that I was really happy about because number one, it could actually be an interesting storyline. Number two, I really do believe that Justin Gabriel could probably best represent the U.S. belt better than Antonio Cesaro. That's how I feel about it. And a second turn that I actually didn't like a lot was the fact that the Rose Scholars beat Ray Ray and Sin Cara. I love that. I really did, because everyone expected Ray Ray and Sin Cara to win, because they're being primed up for WrestleMania and for the big match where it's going to be Ray Ray's retirement. But honestly, I love Damian Sandow. I love Cody Rhodes. I love the Rhodes Scholars. And I love the fact that they are the number one contenders for the tag team belts, because we all know they're going to win it. Let's face it. But then they're going to probably give us a curve later on, and who knows? Somehow they're miraculously, hell no, or miraculously win it. But regardless of that, it was an interesting angle. But the one thing that really does kind of piss me off a little bit is how in the world they actually decided to make Kane and Daniel Bryan look like bigger jokes than they already are. Like, seriously. The tag team titles, they're making the tag team championship belts look weak, in my opinion. For these ridiculous, inane, and also juvenile storylines that they're giving them. Making them look more like children. Making Kane look more like a big red pussy cat. And making Daniel Bryan look like a complete moron. I mean, I'm sorry. The fact that they actually had a newlywed game for tag teams in the ring was just dumb. I'm sorry, it really was, and I'm not gonna lie about that. But I mean, I don't know. And then the fact that Vicky Guerrero was the one that was gonna be in charge. Yeah, I mean, I'm really sick to death of seeing her in a position of power on my screen. I had to deal with the whole Guerrero era, her flaunting herself pretty much all over the place. The whole naked picture shot, ugh, something I'm trying to unsee in my brain, and unfortunately, it's still back there in the back of my mind. But anyway, the thing about it is, I'm tired of her being in power, because in the end, it's gonna all be about her, and and it would be a great position for her to be in if she actually did something for the divas, but she's not. And since there was like barely any divas action at all, we all know there's gonna probably be some kind of a triple feud between Caitlyn, Layla, and Eve going on, which is kind of interesting, a little bit, I guess. I don't know, but all in all, it really was not so bad of a Raw. Like, it actually seemed like they tried to throw a bone out at you because of how low the ratings were. You can kind of tell that that's what they were trying to do. But we're so used to it sucking that no matter what they try to do, it's gonna suck. Like, seriously, you're gonna find something that's gonna make it suck because you expect it to suck. But it didn't totally suck. It was decent. It wasn't sheer awesomeness. It wasn't mediocre. It wasn't blah. It was just there. That's pretty much how I can really express it. It was decent. But all in all, that's pretty much how I see about how Raw is. And yeah, they kind of left out the whole thing with Dolph Ziggler, and now we don't really know where Dolph Ziggler is going to go now. And, there was a lot of plot holes that they actually kind of left out in every single segment. But it still was not all that bad. But anyway, I am curious of what you guys think about Raw. Do you think it was pretty decent? Do you think it's sheer awesomeness, or do you think it's just plain suckage? Leave your comments in the comment section below, or send me a video response. I'm all for that, and I will definitely look at them. But, I really, like I said before, I don't think it was a bad Raw. I still don't think it's a bad Raw. I'll probably be the only person to actually say so, but I am curious to hear what you guys think. And next Monday, I am going to have another female YWC or IWC shooter for a shout out, just to try to get more female shooters to come out more, because I know that they're out there, but sometimes they don't feel like they have the need to come out. But either or, I'm still going to give some love to my people, some love to my gender, okay? Well, not in that way, but either or, I'm just gonna give some love to the female YWC shooters out there. And I think that really does need to be promoted a little bit more. But anyway, you'll see that next Monday. This is Nature Girl 30 signing off. Peace out. Later.